Miss Latoya Hopewell-Cantie of Cumberland County has a God-given vision that she wants to bring to South Jersey to help equip, but not only equip, but to help bring a legacy to communities in South Jersey. But before she had this great vision, she was just a teenager on the wrong path. But it wasn't until God had her yes that he was able to turn her life all the way around. It's definitely what's good in South Jersey. Stay tuned and listen to this story. I'm curious, what was your mindset BC, before Christ, before God? Describe your mindset and who you were.
My dad was absent at that point in my life. And so when my dad came back in my life at 17 years old, about 16 and a half, 17 years old, my whole world changed. And he just kept talking to me about college. These were some things that my mom was already telling me about, but I was longing for my father. You know, so I always wanted to have my dad in my life. And when my dad came in, it's like things just began to take a turn. And my dad was, you know, a really important component to catapulting me to where, you know, God was taking me, because he always talked about faith, you know.
Latoya says when she was 17 years old, she gave birth to her son, and she was going in the wrong direction. But she heard from God, and he told her he had a plan for her life. And through her parents, especially her father, encouraging her to go to college and strengthening her faith, Latoya gave her yes to God and went on to graduate from Oral Roberts University, serving in the military and becoming a park guide at the Booker T. Washington State Park in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now Latoya, under the inspiration of God, wants to build a place for families in South Jersey for equipping them in the things of God.
It's going to be Equip Community Training Center.
What can the kids expect from this center of yours?
We're focusing on the kids, helping them to identify and discover and to, you know, be trained and developed in the skills that God has already given them. We want to help them to really identify it, though, and have a passion about it, because sometimes the lack of exposure can bring about, you know, a deficit as far as how they perform. But if kids, you know, are exposed to the fact that, hey, you're really good at this, we see that you have an engineering mindset, you know, you're really good when it comes to science, and, you know, the STEM, you know, we have STEM programs in place to help them identify that, then we can help them to discover, identify it, develop it, so that way they could be trained in what they are called to do.
The mission statement for the Equipping Center is to equip, train, and leave a legacy on each family that she comes in contact with, because training up a person to improve upon their individual skill set will not only help that person, but positively affect that community. And Latoya believes God softened her heart for South Jersey communities. So why South Jersey? Does it have anything to do with sort of your roots being here, or is it more because you're under direction from the divine?
Direction from above, from the Lord, because he's the one that sets the location in the region. For anyone who's called in the apostolic, they know that God sends you to a region, and in that region he wants you to equip it or prepare it, or, you know, put things in place so that people can be able to discover their gifts and their callings for the work of the ministry and services, whether it's social services or whether it's medical services. That is what he calls us to do. But also too, it is, I'm thankful that he's given me this opportunity to come back to South Jersey, because these are my roots. So when I was younger, I can remember, you know, when I would see certain things, it would hurt me, and I didn't understand. Like if I would see somebody that was, if I was walking down Landis Avenue with my mom and I would see somebody that was, you know, laying down and they were drunk or something, that would hurt me. If I would see somebody and I could identify that they was on drugs, that would hurt me. I remember as a kid, I would cry about stuff like that, you know, because I didn't realize till later that God had softened my heart so that way I can have compassion for people when I grew up to walk into his calling and purpose. So South Jersey for me, it's home. It's a place where I feel like I want to, God is calling me to have an impact on, so it could be a model to be able to go across different nations for what we're doing here. It's an equipping model that God is calling us to do.
If I were in high school at the level of the arena of high school is now in public schooling, I don't think I would be able to hang. I mean, high school for me was depressing, but I made it. I made it out. I survived. But I'm just thinking, for them to come What will they be equipped with to handle the issues of life?
What we definitely want to help them with here is first and foremost self-identity and understanding self-worth. So for kids that's dealing with anxieties or dealing with low self-esteem, low self-concept of, how they feel, but then also how they think, their self-concept of themselves. Like we want to have, and be in partnership with people who could actually come in and give them that one-on-one assistance to be able to let them know that they do have value, that there is something significant about them. We want to cultivate that in them, and so that way they can have confidence. I found that when young kids have confidence, they are more able to articulate themselves better. It decreases frustration, and they perform better when they are in school.
Latoya also wants the Equipping Center to provide financial literacy programs, entrepreneurship programs as well, all in the effort to be a community resource for South Jersey. Where do you see this happening in South Jersey? Meaning, where would you build something like this? And then also, do you know who it is that is supposed to walk this out with you?
I definitely believe God has called us to Atlantic County. And so we will be building here. We are in the process right now of actually looking for land to be able to have our own facility where we would be able to have an agricultural area and department. We'll be able to have a state-of-the-art, multimedia, state-of-the-art financial department. Like we want things to a chapel. So when students come in and they're being equipped, they're being trained, they also can, during the daytime or during the evening time, they could go into the chapel and they could pray. We'll have a culinary department as well. So all of these things we need space for. So Atlantic County has a lot of land here. I know Cumberland County does as well, but we believe specifically he is calling us here. The people that we believe that will come in to help us will be entrepreneurs. It will be, people that are called into, different walks of ministries. It will be, professionals. And when I say professionals, it could be, registered nurses. It could be your social service or your social workers that will come in. Also to your advocate, your child care advocates that could come in, because we'll have kids that are here that they will go and range from the ages, probably from like 5 all the way up to the age of 24. We'll also, like again, I was saying, teachers and superintendents. We want guidance counselors. We're calling for mayors to come in to help and to participate. Journalists that can help as well, because we're going to have so many different departments that is going to be there. But each department is going to be suitable for the wellness of life. So we're not just throwing things out there because we think it'll be good. We believe that financial, emotional, services department there, and then also having that, communication department. All of these things are going to help to build the ministerial component of it. Is going to help to build a better person and then a better, family member. So we want to build families so that way they can be able to build and impact the community and therefore leave a legacy. So we want to equip, we want to train, and we want to leave a legacy to change generations.
To learn how you can get involved to further the cause, go to Equip Training Ministries on Facebook to see how you can help Latoya equip families in South Jersey. In Mays Landing, I'm Isaiah Showell with Follow South Jersey, and that's what's good in South Jersey this week.